Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Thursday, the 26th day of October, year of our Lord 2017. Welcome to the John Moore Show. Special announcement for all you folks that plan on seeing me in Hattiesburg, Mississippi in 2 days, Saturday the 28th. The time has been moved back 1 hour to 11 a.m. 11 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. for a start time. The banner on my website's been changed, now reflecting that. So my speaking engagement in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Saturday the 28th, will start at 11 o'clock in the morning. Be sure you make note of that, 11 o'clock a.m. The change happened due to circumstances beyond my control, dealing with the hotel management. But it'll be a good event, and look forward to seeing as many of you there as can be there. Saturday the 28th of October at 11 a.m. at the Red Line Inn in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Prepper tip of the day. I don't believe I've ever given this one before. It's a new one. Everyone on your team, beginning at the point where they're potty trained, should know how to swim. Seriously. It's something that those of us in special operations take for granted. You're not allowed to become part of special operations unless you can pass a swimming test. But in my opinion, every man, woman, and child should be able to swim. That's not an optional skill, in my opinion. And if you don't know how to swim, well, get over it. Take some lessons, learn how to swim. You'll be very glad you did that. We have patient waiting in green room, my friend Tim Spencer. Tim is a husband, father, grandfather, rancher, proprietor of an excellent website, ruralsurvival.info, veteran of the United States Navy Submarine Corps, and generally man about town. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, John. Hey, you were just talking about that mandatory swim test for Spec Ops people and all. Lori, right. When she and I were stationed at Belle Chase in New Orleans, used to have to test the pilots on swimming, Navy pilots, right, and they had to pass a swim test on a regular basis. And it would amaze you how many people in the Navy don't know how to swim.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't amaze me at all. It's something people don't talk about, but it's a sizable percentage. And what brought this to mind was this attack in Nigeria, where these men were killed. One of the special forces troopers was a African American, which it's a matter of physiology.
Yes,
African Americans have denser bodies in general than Caucasians and Asians, making it much more difficult for them to swim. It is very difficult for African Americans to swim and pass a swim test, which they can do. But it is difficult for them. So it's
much harder. It takes much more physical exertion for them than it does Caucasians. That I know for a fact. And it's like I said, it's nothing racist. It's just the way it is. Their bones are so much denser, and it's so much harder for them to stay afloat.
It is. And which is why when I was in Special Forces, out of 600 men in the sixth group that I was in, there was maybe 5 or 6 African Americans, maybe, which would be, what would that be, 1/10 of 1%?
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like submarine force, a crew of 150. There were 2 black men on board my first submarine out of 150.
Right.
So that's a little bit greater percentage, but still, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. And it's nothing against them whatsoever. In fact, both of these men were some of my best friends.
Exactly. Well, my daughter got her first swim lessons when she was still not quite potty trained, and it's not optional. And everybody should have that skill. Every living, breathing human being should know how to swim. Moving on from there, Tim. You and I talked briefly this morning about the excellent article at All News Pipeline, and it's a good summary without getting too carried away. I believe a good summary of the current threats that we're facing. And people need to be aware of this and do what you and I would call prudent preparation, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what can I say, John? You know, that peace of mind you get by knowing that you've done everything you can do to be ready for whatever comes, it can't be beat. You know, I'm looking at, I haven't looked at their site. I haven't looked at Susan's site yet. But you know, I look at all the things, people like Dave Hodges are saying, oh, you got to stock up on food and all that. And it's so nice to sit back and, you know, do that mental check off and, yep, done, no problem. Water, done, no problem. You know, it's so nice to be able to do that and not have to sweat it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, that's good advice. And everybody's got their own financial situation. And you do what you can do. Perhaps you can't afford a pallet of freeze-dried food, which would be several hundreds of dollars, quite a few hundreds of dollars. But most people, when they go to their supermarket, they could pick up an extra bag of rice, an extra bag of beans every time that they go. Rice and beans.
Well, that's what we do.
Right, exactly. And then I think it's a good idea to have one of those vacuum pack machines as well. If you're storing up those, if you're buying them incrementally like that, I would just go ahead and vacuum pack them in two more bags. Anything important, I always vacuum pack twice, because I've seen about a 5 to 10% failure rate on these vacuum sealed bags that I seal up myself. But when you double bag them, vacuum pack each one twice, there's a far less failure of both, isn't there?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, John. Now, I don't have one of those machines myself. I still want to get one. But from talking to so many other people that are like you that have them, yeah, that's what it seems like. About 1 out of 20, 1 out of 15 will fail.
Exactly. Well, this is your heads up, ladies and gentlemen. Now, those they sell these on Amazon and Walmart, and you're looking at not a whole lot of money. The most efficient way to do it is to, in my opinion, is get the rolls, not the pre-cut bags, but the rolls where you cut off just what you need for whatever application it might be. Now, I vacuum pack books, and which would be a King James Bible and Special Forces Manual, and 10 ways out, say 6 ways in, 12 ways out, and then Professor McCanney's book on survival of Planet X. I keep those vacuum packed in my gun safe, ready for use in the future if ever necessary.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's a really good idea.
Yep, and it doesn't, these are books I would have anyway. They're extra copies, so I still have books that I can read. But, they vacuum pack them, put them in a place where they can't be harmed, such as a gun safe, and you're good to go. Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. So what books would you vacuum pack, Tim?
I like you, the King James version of the Bible would be the main one. Most of my stuff is digital. I've got a metal box that I can put a tablet in and a couple of copies of the flash drive and stuff like that. So it's EMP proof. And when I say I have it ready, it is literally right beside my bed and open. So all I got to do is grab, drop, close. If it looks like anything's going to happen.
Right.
It's literally that quick. 1 second, I can have stuff secured.
That's good.
So
that's good.
That's my two main things.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about what's going to happen on November 4th. There's been a list published of the cities that Antifa plans on having their demonstrations / riots. They're not big enough by themselves to do very much except cause some local disruptions. Now,
and I don't think they're going to get the people jumping on board that they claim they're going to.
No, they'll have their paid minions. Will show
but I think
up,
that's
going
to be it, pretty much.
I believe you're right. Now, if there's help from other entities that have other things, like if ISIS decides to jump in there to cause problems, or MS-13, or other communists that are around the country, that could certainly multiply the effect of what may or may not happen on November the 4th, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely, it could. You know, I did a little bit of reading yesterday. I don't remember where I was at, but I did a little bit of reading yesterday. And this Antifa thing actually has its roots pre-World War II in Europe. Did you know that?
Well, I've seen photographs of their predecessor groups with a swastika being prominent in these meetings.
Yeah, that was after the Antifa and the Brown Church joined up. Originally, they were fighting each other, from what I read, if the history I read was true. Originally, they were fighting each other and decided to join up because, you know, they basically stood for the same things.
Right.
So, you know, I just found that quite interesting.
I did also. People need to be aware of the history of the different groups and where their financial backing comes from, what their mission statement is. Learn how to read between the lines and understand the language they use and the words they use, which don't necessarily mean the same thing as we might think before we do a little homework. Right.
Exactly, John.
I was pretty surprised. Now, back during the Vietnam War, there was a lot of Marxists hanging around the anti-war movement, and I got to know some of these men and women, and I was a bit surprised at first of their very big support for Abraham Lincoln. I didn't know enough about Abraham Lincoln to understand why at the time.
Right.
I've since learned that Abraham Lincoln's administration had Marxists in it that had been part of the unsuccessful communist revolution in Germany only a few years before.
Correct.
And people don't know this. Abraham Lincoln's been elevated to some kind of a quasi-godlike status in this country, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And in reality, I forgot the exact word, but something equivalent to scallywag is how he was described by a majority of the both the Democrats and almost all Southern politicians prior to the War of Northern Aggression. He was not well liked. He was seen as a liar and a lawyer. You know, maybe those are synonymous. I don't know.
Right.
But he was not at all well received in his own time.
No, not at all. And the belief that he wanted slavery to end is a fallacy as well.
All you got to do is read his first inauguration speech.
He what?
All you got to do is read his inauguration speech.
Oh, okay.
He vowed not to mess with slavery.
Right. Well, I find it rather ironic that most of the 300+ million people in the United States think that the War of Northern Aggression, which most people call the Civil War, was one country invading another to end the slavery in the other country. While isn't it ironic that you would engage in such an activity while you have slavery legal and openly practiced in the country that's doing the attacking?
Yes, it's quite ironic. Yes.
And here's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The Civil War was two countries, the United States of America, the Confederate States of America, both of which had slavery legal all during the war. In the states of Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, and Delaware, which were part of the United States of America, men and women, boys and girls were bought and sold all during the Civil War, weren't they, Tim?
Yes, they were. Absolutely.
So, now my great-grandfather was drafted into the Union Army 17 miles from where I'm sitting in Steelville, Missouri. It did not work out well for him. He was only in there 6 months. The war ended, which probably saved his life. But I know where his sympathies lie because his son-in-law, my grandfather, his name was Robert Lee Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And I've no doubt that my great-grandfather and my grandfather got along famously.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a fallacy. If you're fighting a war to end slavery and you're conducting that activity yourself, what's wrong with this picture?
Yeah, it was about money. It wasn't about slavery. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Those 13 states, Confederate states, they were the money-generating engine of the United States of America. They provided most of the money going to the U.S. Treasury, and they were getting almost none of it back. And
Correct.
That's what the war was about, ladies and gentlemen. It was about money, money, money. As the song from Cabaret goes, money makes the world go around, the world go around. Yes, it does.
Yep.
And
That's
it was two countries, one invading the other to keep that stream of revenue being generated. It's been said recently, and it's quite true, the federal government of the United States in 1861 could have bought all the slaves in the South for less money, and obviously no loss of life, for less money and no loss of life, because they were a commodity to be bought and sold like a bag of potatoes, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Just like I liken it more to horses, mules, livestock that you have to keep healthy.
Well, that's probably a better analogy. But the bottom line is, they could have the northern government, the United States, could have gone to all the slave markets and bought all the slaves. That would have been the end of it. Here's our break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. Thank you. Thursday, the 26th of October. Tim, do you have any of your survival libraries on a flash drive in stock, sir?
Yes, I've got 6 of them right now ready to go out. Cost is $59.95 for U.S. customers, $77.95 for everywhere else on the planet. 1,570 documents plus on a little tiny flash drive that weighs less than 10 grams. It's just a fantastic assortment of stuff, covering almost every subject you can imagine. 200 plus military manuals, more than that. Let me see, almost 400 different military manuals, hundreds of miscellaneous documents and books, 172 generator manuals. I mean, you name it, it's on there.
Well, I found one of my neighbors bought a military generator, and I found the manual for it on a flash drive, and I printed it out hard copy on 3-hole punch paper, put it in a 3-ring binder, and he was just like a kid with a new bicycle on Christmas morning. I mean,
I bet.
Because he didn't have a clue where to get one of these manuals. He did not have a clue. And so the index is there on your website. You don't need to buy a pig in a poke, as my grandmother would say. You'll find, I know I did, I found several dozen publications, books that I'm really glad that I've incorporated into my private library. And almost everybody will find several dozen. Once you found 3 or 4, it's paid for itself, but you'll find dozens that will be of great interest that you'll be very glad to have, right, Tim?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got everything on there from canning to probably 300 or 400 miscellaneous manuals that just cover all kinds of aspects of life in general. I would be surprised if somebody didn't find probably 25 books or manuals on there that they want. It's just incredible how much is there. And
that's right.
It definitely took some work to put it together, but it's been worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I guess we ought to tell people how to find them.
Well, how do they find them?
Well, folks need to go to ruralsurvival.info. That's ruralsurvival.info. There's a picture of a flash drive on the top right of every page. You just click on that, and that opens up the ordering page and the page that has the link to the 53-page index, and you can find everything you need to know about it right there.
All right. Something we haven't talked about for a while, but we've had, Steve Whitman, I think, is the shining example of somebody starting out writing articles for ruralsurvival.info and then going on to become a published author. I believe Steve has finished 7 novels now and is working on number 8, if I'm not mistaken. And it all began with my urging him, and you're also urging him to begin writing for ruralsurvival.info, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And he is one of these guys with a natural talent for writing. It's not something he worked on, I don't think. It definitely wasn't anything he developed over years. But some people just have that natural talent for writing, and he is one of them. That
went unknown for 5 decades. 5 decades plus, unknown to him. And there's lots of people listening to us right now that are wondering, well, do I have writing talent? Well, here's how you find out. You start writing for ruralsurvival.info. Write about something you know.
That's right.
Something related to hobby farms. It can be anything. Animal husbandry, gardening, maintenance of tools, how to drive a tractor. Whatever it is related to, which there's dozens and dozens of possibilities there. And get that to Tim and just start writing and start getting published. Right, Tim?
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely don't turn down stuff unless it's just incredibly erroneous or just written in very bad taste. I think there's only been 1 or 2 articles we've ever turned down. So, yeah, shoot me an email, office@ruralsurvival.info. Tell me about what you have, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, all these issues that we're concerned about continue to move forward. Some, and we've talked about this before, how things will drift in and out of the mainstream media. The Middle East is not on the mainstream media's radar at all at the moment, is it?
No, it's not. And I find that interesting considering how much is going on. Iraq, I believe it was yesterday or day before, simply asked the United States to leave. But you didn't see that anywhere in the news.
That's a big deal. I wasn't aware of that. That's a really big deal, and it's amazing, isn't it? We got to bob down a break. We'll be back with Tom Berryhill. We're going to talk about the energy cleaner. Stay tuned.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 26th of October. This is the 24 minutes I look forward to every week, where we talk about a very special product called the Energy Cleaner. We begin these conversations with my friend, the manufacturer of the Energy Cleaner, Mr. Tom Berryhill, giving us our disclaimer. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, John. We're not doctors or medical professionals. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. The information discussed today is for your education and entertainment only. If you have a medical condition requiring treatment, you should utilize the services of a medical doctor, chiropractor, or other competent practitioner.
All right, thank you. Well, a couple of updates for you, gentlemen. I've been in contact with Diane Zerger, who was with us every Thursday for a number of years, and I'm looking forward to talking to her soon. She's been on vacation, and I'm going to encourage her to come back on the show at least occasionally to give us updates on her mission to save the planet one energy cleaner at a time. I've also been in touch with Steve Whitman. He's back in Boston. The fish camp is shut down for the season, and Steve has agreed to come on the show also and tell his story. Ever since I came back from Prague, we've got so many new listeners who never heard Diane Zerger, never heard Steve Whitman, and these people need to be educated also, don't they, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely.
They do. And Diane is so perky and upbeat. She brings a whole new level of enthusiasm that us three guys can't do, can we, Tom?
No, she's a very unique person, and it was always really interesting to hear her reports, John. It really was. Right.
She's an Air Force veteran who rides her Kawasaki Nomad back and forth to work when weather allows up there in Minnesota. And what a gal.
John, didn't she tell us she smokes cigars?
I don't recall that specifically. Do you, Tim?
No, I don't recall that at all, no.
I really think she told us.
Her.
I think one time she told us that she smokes cigars. Found that interesting.
It's it wouldn't surprise me. She's quite a woman.
Rides a motorcycle to work and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, owning a motorcycle in Minnesota is certainly a leap of faith, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah. Of course,
but John, she's in Wisconsin.
Loves the cold.
Wisconsin. Yeah. Same thing. I mean, brutal. We don't know what winter is down here.
No, it gets cold there.
And if you've never been that far north, ladies and gentlemen, they have gates on the interstate highway. Seriously, the first time I saw it, I thought, what in the world is this? There's gates. That's to keep people from going any further in the direction they're going, or to keep them from getting on the highway in the first place once that snow and ice gets too bad. And when you walk outside, and those little hairs inside your nostrils freeze the first breath you take. You know you're in some cold weather. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the energy cleaner. All kidding aside, this is a healing device. I've shipped hundreds of these literally all over the planet. I've shipped them to every continent with the exception of the Antarctic, and we always speculate whether the 3,000 men and women at McMurdo Station who are down there to count penguins and take ice core samples, as if you need 3,000 people to count penguins and take ice core samples. We always speculate whether they have an energy cleaner or 2 or 10 or 100 down there. But regardless, I've shipped them all over the planet, and I use mine every night. And we've got people. Diane Zerger is not the exception. She becomes the rule. I've had Tom and Tim. People buy their second, third. We had a gentleman last month bought 5 in addition to the 3 he already had. Now, Tim, you know my listeners as well as anybody because you co-host with me. You substitute when I'm gone. And of course, you have your own show now. You know that your listeners and my listeners both are educated people who actually do read books. They're not they're run of the mill Americans who would write a letter to an actor pretending to be a doctor as for medical advice, are they, Tim?
No, certainly not. No, the caliber of our listeners is very high compared to the rest of the population. There's no question about that.
Right. So these people are buying a second, third, fourth, 8th, 10th unit because the first one worked. I'm working with a woman right now in Steelville. She's got a loaner, and initially the power of the energy cleaner was too much, and so about 9 days ago, I had her take 6 of the 9 batteries out because one of the things the energy cleaner does, ladies and gentlemen, is detox the heavy metals and other toxins in your body. And if your toxic buildup is too much, it could be. The energy cleaner power could be too much too soon. So what we do is remove 6 of the 9 batteries, or 9 D-cell batteries. That reduces the power by 2/3. And then it slows down the detox, and people can tolerate it then, can't they, Tom?
Yes, that's right, John. And it doesn't matter which row of batteries that you leave in. There's 3 rows of 3 each. So you take out any 2 of those 3 rows, and as long as that lamp's blinking, then you'll know it's working. So one row of batteries will run it at a much reduced level.
Exactly. These are simple machines, by the way. There's no on-off switch, no gauges, no dials. Simply one LED light, what Tom just called a lamp, that alternately flashes red or green, telling you 2 things. First of all, it's working. Second of all, it's changing polarity. Then there's one place to plug in one wire. That's it. That's all there is to it. You plug in that wire can be attached to a metal spoon that you put in a bathtub full of comfortably warm water, or a hot tub turned down to 98 degrees, or to the mattress pad that I sell. Most people use the mattress pad method. It's simple. You don't have to do anything except go to sleep, which you do every night anyway. And that mattress pad puts that signal out to anybody who's on that bed. And we got twin size, full, queen, king, California king, and of course the handy travel size, what I like to use on trips. Or if you've got a injured body part, such as a knee or an ankle or a shoulder, you can put that pad over that injured body part or the back of your neck and focus that energy on that injured body part to get more rapid healing. You can read up on the energy cleaner at my website, ladies and gentlemen, the patent application information, the wonderful testimonials from people like Steve Whitman. And of course, I should have did this years ago, but it didn't occur to me until about 3 years ago. This is my 3rd year of offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're risking nothing. $285 for the energy cleaner, shipping included to American zip codes. The mattress pads vary according to the size. And I do have a toll-free order line, keeping in mind I take PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, and checks can be sent to my address at thelibertyman.com. Here's my toll-free order line. And after we give that, I'm going to have a drawing, because our drawing last week, the individual has not responded. The toll-free order line, 24 hours a day for the energy cleaner. Here it is, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. Okay, I'm reached in. I pulled out the card here, and it's one of our regular callers, it turns out. It's Rick in Missouri.
Cool.
So, how about that? I wasn't looking. I should have looked, but I don't look. I try to keep this fair for everybody. So, Rick, you may be listening, and if you are, give me a call. We'll work this out. I've got your phone number, obviously. I need to ask you, Tim, has Rick written any articles for Rural Survival yet?
No, but we're talking about making some videos this spring.
Okay.
Actually me going up there with him, the two of us taking a couple of days and making 3 or 4, 5 or 10-minute videos on various things that Rick is super proficient at.
Well, good.
So,
he's got some unique skill set. Rick has some unique skill set. He's a fun guy to be around, quite frankly, because
he is.
He's just a fun guy to be around. Well, okay. Well, Rick, you've got the opportunity now. This is for everybody to listen here. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. You get that postcard in. We'd have a drawing every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price goes to Republic Broadcasting. And I know Mr. Miller and the staff at Republic Broadcasting appreciate this fundraiser, which has been funded and sponsored by Tom Berryhill. And Tom, every time I talk to Mr. Miller, he's very appreciative of your effort that you're putting out here, sir.
Well, that's good, John. I'm glad to do it, and I think we all have to contribute to the best of our ability to help Republic Broadcasting. It's a very valuable source of information.
It is. It is. And here I am, the three of us, we're talking to 10,000 people right now, maybe more if you look at the archives long term. And we can't see who we're talking to. So I get feedback from people that show up at movie night, and I know how appreciative people are of the information that I put out, that Tim puts out, all the different hosts that Republic Broadcasting puts out. It's an education, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the reality is, if I had the time, I think I could listen to Republic all day long. Of course, I don't. But I actually know people that, through their phones, do listen to Republic all day long, 7 days a week, through their phones.
Right.
I think good on them.
And yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who comes to movie night every Friday, and I said, here's what you do. You get yourself a small FM transmitter. You set that up, and he's got free to air, one of these satellite dish things, and just set it up to broadcast that FM signal around your ranch there, and have a small FM receiver, and you can go about your activities in your workshop, in your garden, and so forth, and be listening to Republic Broadcasting at the same time. And
right,
it's a simple off-the-shelf technology at this point, isn't it, Tom?
Oh, it is. It was very difficult to do this, even as little as 15 years ago, John. But the equipment availability has, it's just made it so much easier. You can go on eBay and buy those transmitters for a very low cost, and of course, the free-to-air satellite system doesn't cost that much, and you're all set. Or you can actually feed the output of your computer for the speakers, just feed that into that transmitter. It works quite well.
Right. Well, free-to-air is and I don't sell these, but they're easy to find. I think there's still a link on my website, Tim, on my links page for the gentleman selling the free-to-air satellite system. It's about less than $300 worth of equipment, no monthly charge. it's great for listening to radio, but when it comes to TV, I hope you like Saudi Arabian golf tournaments and Polish soccer games, but but it's great for radio. It's great for radio, TV is not the kind of thing most people want to watch on that free satellite thing, but it's great for radio, isn't it, Tom?
It sure is. It works really good for that.
It does. Well, Tim, you've been using Energy Cleaner now. This is year number 7, is it, or number 8? I've lost track.
8. I'm
year
sure
number
it's
8. As of this month, you're number 8, or late last month, and it's changed your life in ways you couldn't even conceive of at the beginning point, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I still credit you and that energy cleaner with saving my life. I truly do. I've had other problems since, but, the energy cleaner can only do just so much. And by the way, Tom and John, both of you, I found out something. Now that I've had my leg amputated, every night when I lay down on the energy cleaner, the first 5 to 7 minutes, I can feel that energy cleaner going after that stump. I mean, it actually causes minor pain. But after that, oh, does it feel good.
Right. Well, it's a healing process taking place. This signal, ladies and gentlemen, it's an electrostatic healing signal is what we call it. It goes to every cell in your body, flushing out toxins, bringing in fresh nutrition. That is the healing process, isn't it, Tom?
Yes, it is, John, and down to the cellular level. If you can allow those cells to be reinvigorated, powered up, almost like a set of jumper cables for a battery, because every cell is like a microscopic battery. The cells are also small pumps that will pull in fresh nutrients, push out the waste material and toxins. You clean those cells out, and they'll start functioning properly again.
That's right.
And you can regain your health.
Right. And the intelligence that built your body in the first place will heal your body after that. We got a caller on hold here. We got Ty in Austin. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for taking the call. You really struck on something there that I've been wanting to express for a long time. But first, just to not go completely off target here, I've called in a few times and given my testimonial on the energy cleaner. Now I'm probably in the slightly younger side of the demographic here. I'm be 44 here pretty soon, but it's an amazing healing device. That is the right way to describe it. I went from having chronic neck pain that would come severely out of nowhere and last for a week. Oh, I don't know. I'd have that every 6 to 8 weeks. It would take me a week to get rid of it. I've had 2 of those episodes in the last 12 months, and there's nothing else that's changed in my life. So the energy cleaner is amazing. RBN is also amazing. I'm one of those guys that has the ability, just for what I do, have a lot of time to where I'm concentrating on the computer or driving. So I've got the earbuds in, and I'm listening to the John Moore Show every morning religiously. And then, the other shows that I like, I tune into. It really is the easiest way to catch the show live. If you have an unlimited plan, if you're not getting charged for minutes and you've got a smartphone, that's the way to go. But the thing that really struck me that I wanted to share with everybody out there that's listening is John's show has a pattern to it. He has similar guests each week. It's predictable. You know pretty much what's coming unless someone's busy and can't tune in. And so it would lead somebody perhaps to think, it's the same thing every week. It's quite the opposite. Even though the show is predictable and you know who's coming on, I have yet to ever listen to a John and Tom energy cleaner half hour and not learn something new. And that goes the same with Jimmy Ginsling. Goes the same with the doc coming up here in a minute. Even, John, when you talk about things that you've talked about before, there's always something new to learn. It's amazing. It really blows my mind, and I love it. I'm an information junkie, and this is the place to get it, folks. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Ty, thank you. Your check's in the mail. We appreciate it. We're going to break. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 26th of October. Well, Tim, I occasionally talk about energy cleaner procrastinators. It's been kind of a fun thing, but on one hand that we talk about. But on the other, you yourself, sir, you were for about 2 weeks, not terribly long, energy cleaner procrastinator. And I've asked you a number of times your advice to people who listen to us for weeks, possibly months, thinking, pondering, wondering if their arthritis pain, back pain, joint pain, not getting a good night's sleep, if it'll help. What's your message to these energy cleaner procrastinators, Tim?
Well, it's very simple. Get one now. If it doesn't work, send it back, get your money back. But if it does work, look at all that extra time you're feeling good that you wouldn't have been if you put it off 6 months.
That's right.
It's that simple.
That is that simple. We got our last caller here this hour, Chance in West Virginia. Good morning, Chance.
Yes, hello, gentlemen. I just tuned in. Did I hear Tim Spencer in the background, by the way?
He's right here.
Yes, you did.
Mr. Spencer, it's so good to know that you're doing well. I've been keeping you in my prayers.
Thank you. It helps.
Yes.
Prayers help.
That's all I wanted to say. God bless you now.
Chance, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Your dilemma that began almost, was it 8 months ago now, Tim, when that ambulance
March 15th. March 15th, yes, sir.
It's been a wild ride for you, hasn't it, sir?
Yeah, it has. I was asked the other day how many times I'd been admitted to the hospital, and Lori and I couldn't come up with a number. It's been so many times.
Yeah. And it's not a trip across town. It's how many miles one way?
Well, it's 2.5 hours one way. I think it's like 135 miles.
That sounds about right for a 2.5 hour drive. Yeah, it's been a real marathon for you and a struggle, and for your family, and you're on the downside of it now.
Yes, I am. The stump is healing well. The phantom pain is a whole new experience. You know, I even yesterday, you know, it felt like my toes were being crushed, and I reached down to grab a foot that wasn't there without thinking. So even after 5 weeks, as of today, of it being gone, I'm still grabbing for a limb that's not there. And I laugh at myself, but in a way it's, you know, so silly, it's frustrating. So it's quite an experience.
Right. It is quite an experience. Well, Energy Cleaner's been there for you, and have you have a tag on the side of yours to advise you when to change the batteries, Tim?
No, I just remember first week of September every year.
Oh, okay. So it's engraved in your brain then, and you don't need to have a tag. I keep a tag on mine because I don't try to remember, because I've got 3 or 4 units that I use for different purposes.
That makes sense.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. We're out of time. Appreciate it.
All right, Tom, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, buddy.
Okay, I'll be here.
Okay. Top of the hour break. We'll be back with Don Kubley. Stay tuned. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here, our second hour on Thursday, the 26th of October. Quick heads up, if you plan on being at my speaking engagement in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Saturday the 28th in 2 days, the event now begins at 11 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. The banner at my website's been changed to reflect that, and just be sure you keep that in mind. If you plan on being at my speaking engagement, Saturday the 28th, the start time is 11 a.m. As opposed to the earlier 1 p.m. So, yes, our prepper tip of the day, here it is. It is my opinion, and I strongly support that everybody should know how to swim. If you don't, if somehow that got past you as a youngster, well, get busy, sign up for a swimming lesson at a local YMCA or some facility that offers swimming lessons and learn that skill. Make sure that children begin their swimming as soon as possible. My daughter started her swimming lessons. She was still not even potty trained. And it's good skill that is not optional, in my opinion. And that's your prepper tip of the day. We have patient waiting in the green room, my friend Don Kubley. Don is the CEO of Intershelter Domes. There's a excellent link at my website to check out the beautiful Intershelter Domes that you can buy and set up yourself. You don't need any expertise. If you can handle a couple of wrenches and a ladder, you can put these together in just a matter of a few hours and have the beginning of either temporary shelter or a beautiful permanent house. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, you old warhorse. How are you?
Well, the old warhorse is quite well, and looking forward to a beautiful mid-fall day here in south central Missouri. How is it up your way, sir?
Oh, it's fall. It's ugly. It's 38 degrees and raining sideways. But I got an important question for you.
Okay.
Did you tell those people that own those pools that your daughter wasn't potty trained?
No, we just made sure that she was. They have special waterproof diapers that she could wear, and that just wasn't addressed. And the whole class was well, I forget how old she was, 2 or 3 years old. So all the children were the same age, and I'm sure the people who did pool maintenance were aware of this. So. I
learned how to swim when I was 2 years old too. I fell off a cliff at my grandfather's cabin on a beach in Ketchikan, and I just I had a retriever, actually a lab that came out and helped me quite a bit. But that was great advice, John. We lose more people in Alaska to drownings annually than any other event, or except for illnesses and that kind of thing. But as far as accidents go, we lose dozens up here a year. The waters of Alaska are the ocean's about 38, 40 degrees. It'll kill you in 3 minutes if you fall in it, unless you grow up here. And when you grow up swimming in it, you can swim all day once you get purple. But for people that have never when people have never been here before, they fall in it. Basically, their heart explodes.
Really?
And so, it just sucks the wind. It sucks the breath right out of you. What makes it even worse is when you're underwater. So, that was a great tip. All you listeners out there, for heaven's sakes, learn how to swim, because you never know when you're going to need it. And besides, it's really fun and good for you.
It is. It's a very healthy sport, pastime, recreational pastime that is very healthy, and the feeling of near weightlessness is extraordinary and fun also. Well,
the weather's nasty. That's why I missed the show last week. I went deer hunting with my son on Monday in our boat, and we have a thing called the Taku wind up here that blows this time of year. And we were planning on being back on Tuesday night, plenty of time for the show, and actually didn't get back till Thursday afternoon. We got socked in with this 10-foot seas out in this fjord just west of Juneau in the icy straits, and we got our rear ends handed to us trying to get back for the show, and I didn't quite make it.
Right. Well, obviously you did make it back, and did you get a deer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's that's how we hunt and fish for everything we eat up here. I've got 4 freezers full of meat and fish and crab and shrimp and clams and stuff. We don't buy meat in the store. That's one of the reasons we put up with the weather and everything else up here, the isolation, and there's very few places on the planet you can still do that. I've got crab pots right in front of my house. I can see the buoys.
Really? Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a great thing.
Absolutely, it is. That you can, and down here, deer hunting is the big event of the year, the 2 weeks of gun season. Well, the events around the world are keeping you very busy between the hurricanes, the earthquakes, the flooding, governments approaching you to buy the dome homes. and individuals buying the dome homes. You're having to set up new manufacturing facilities, and things are going like gangbusters, aren't they, Don?
Yeah, my poor wife is about ready to drop. It's it's a very rewarding thing, John. To be able to have a business that is busy and successful, and still at the same time you're able to help folks, whether they're homeless because of socioeconomic conditions, or they're refugees like the Rwanda that are running to keep their heads on their shoulders, or all over the Middle East for that matter, or these poor people in Sonoma County. Holy smokes, no pun intended.
Right.
In fact, we got written up yesterday in the largest newspaper in that covers all of the communities in the Sonoma Valley, called the Sonoma Gazette. And if you're interested, you can read about us in that. And we're going to have a lot of domes going into that valley here shortly.
Right. Well, the Sonoma Gazette did a piece. Did they interview you for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. She had ran into my. She'd been looking at me, and I was frankly kind of looking around to see what newspaper was the biggest one down there, and I just thought I'd give them a shout and see what they were about. And I actually got the editor the editor answered the phone, a lady named Vesta, really nice lady, and we struck it off. And next thing I knew, we talked for an hour the first time. She's quite a gal, and I had a lot of friends and family that had been impacted by the fire, and was very interested in letting them know that there was an alternative out there. I mean, it seems like everybody just expects FEMA to give them a trailer after a disaster like this, and it just ain't going to happen. If you're going to sit there and wait for somebody to hand you a trailer, you're really, your family's going to be very, very uncomfortable for a while, because it just doesn't happen like that.
No, not at all. And of course, the trailers they provided after Hurricane Katrina ended up being death traps, literally, with the formaldehyde issues.
Have I ever sent you? Have you ever seen any pictures of those trailers, where they're at now, what they're doing?
I've seen pictures of them stockpiled in various places.
Yeah,
but,
that's it. Yeah, stockpiled like 50,000 of them in a parking in a field, and they're just lined up as far as you can see, and they're so toxic they can't even bury them. They can't burn them. They don't know what to do with them. They're going to be there, until they just simply rot. They were toxic. I've got several articles that I saved from that. They made especially the young people and the old people, desperately ill. So anyway, things are busy, John. The disasters around the world are really something. And of course, our Indian factory just got a jump start with the Rwanda situation and coming out of Myanmar. And we're working with some really nice people in Bangladesh at the highest levels, right below the prime minister level. And in fact, I was supposed to go over next week, but my partner's daughter's having a baby, so we had to put off the trip. But we're going to go over and meet with all the ministers and the prime minister and do what we can to help there too. I think their first order is 5,000 units out of our factory in India.
Right. Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to be buying 5,000 units. You can get one unit for yourself, and you can have a vacation home, a full-time home, a man cave, a place for your mother-in-law to live out back. The uses are limited only to your imagination and your pocketbook, and it can be just one small unit or several units attached to each other, so that you can have a very nice large home or just one small cabin. It's quite a challenge to even think about all the possibilities. Now, my wife and I are still looking at the possibility of setting one up here for my mother-in-law. That situation is always in flux, it seems like, but just doing the planning is a fun exercise in and of itself, isn't it, Don?
Oh, yeah. Because it's, like you said, it's limited only to your imagination. You can make them as fancy or Spartan as your needs might be, or you can start out Spartan and end up fancy. You know, you can they can advance and adjust as your needs do. And basically anything you can buy in a Home Depot or a furniture store, you can put in or hang on a dome. And I mean, my moose hunting lodge is four bunks and a picnic table and a bar, and basically, and but you know, some of these. Have you seen the pictures of the ones, the Aurora domes now up in Fairbanks and soon to be in Denali National Park yet?
I'm not sure. If you sent them to me, I did.
I have not, and I'm going to send you a couple. I'm going to send you a couple here as soon as I fire up my other laptop. Okay. You are going to be stunned. You are going to be stunned what they did with these. Now you talk about fancy. Wait till you see these. They're and the whole, not the whole, but you got 21 feet in one direction, and I don't know what 10 times 21 is. It's a lot of square feet. What is that? 210 square feet. You got a 210 square foot window above your bed,
right.
so you can stay under the electric blanket and watch the northern lights. It's pretty spectacular.
Right. And these are meant for people to rent for tourists. Okay,
I'm back. I lost you for a minute.
I was going to say, yeah, we had some interference there. And these windows are for tourists to watch the northern lights. That's the purpose.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And there's some Asian belief about how they make. Right.
If you consummate a marriage or conceive a baby under the northern lights, they're both going to be magic in some way, shape, or form. They're going to be extra special, and we just would love to help them do that.
Right. So this is an Asian belief that if conception takes place under the northern lights, that this baby's going to be have special properties to it.
Yeah, right. They're going to be special people. Exactly.
Well, there could be some scientific basis for that, because the energy coming from that northern lights would be different than normal energy, and we are energetic beings. So it's
maybe that's why people think us Alaskans are different.
Well, one of my high school classmates went there with the Air Force, and he never left. And I don't know if he's a regular listener or not, but he personally rescued a C-130 in May 1975 that was about to be captured by the communists in Saigon. And he's made his home in Alaska, and he's quite a guy. He's a good friend. But ladies and gentlemen,
how do you rescue a Hercules? How do you pick that up and run away with it?
Well,
did he fly it off the runway in time, or what?
He flew it off the tarmac as the communist tanks were coming in the other end, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he did.
After the pullout, or during the Tet Offensive, or what?
No, this is the fall of Saigon in the spring of 75.
Oh, the fall of Saigon. I got you. Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He volunteered.
Well, you'd be amazed how many people come up here, for a tour of duty or a cruise ship, vacation, or just to drive through Alaska and never leave. I mean, it's probably a majority of Alaskans are like that. Most of us aren't. I was lucky enough to be born here, but most Alaskans, that's how they end up here. They
transplants.
They just take a trip through and get off, and they go, holy Moses, this is pretty, and that's it. They're here forever.
Right. Well, the environment in parts of Alaska, once you get away from the coast, are about as harsh as any place on the planet, aren't they, sir?
It's amazing, you know that. Yeah, the coast. Well, the southern coast where I live is fairly moderate. I mean, we have some winters it barely snows. It's a lot like Seattle, and then other winters we get dumped on. We're right at the borderline. South of us, it rains all winter in Ketchikan, where I was born, And here in Juneau, some winters it's like real Alaska, and other winters it's more like Seattle. But anywhere north of here along the coast, they still get real winters. But you get back off the coast, like you said, and especially in behind the mountain range, the coastal mountain range, and yeah, you better know what you're doing this time of year, because between now and the next warm day, you're gonna be challenged, to say the least.
Exactly. And I bring this.
I don't know how the pioneers did it. Like my great grandfather, they didn't have down coats, they didn't have rain gear, they didn't have extra tough boots, they didn't have these fancy tents that flip up in 10 minutes, to keep you alive overnight. They just had sheer. I just don't know how they did it. They were tough men and women, is what they were. Holy smokes! Yeah,
seriously tough. Not that they had any choice.
Have you ever seen the? Excuse me. Have you ever seen the movie The Revenant?
Yes.
Okay, that's how tough they were.
I know. Here's our break. Call number is 800-313-9443. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. Thank you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 26th of October. Quick reminder, this coming Saturday, my presentation in Hattiesburg begins at 11 a.m. as opposed to the earlier 1 p.m. So if you're coming to see me Saturday, the 28th in Hattiesburg at the Red Line Inn, be there at no later than 11 a.m. and we'll get started. Visiting with Don Kubley, we're talking about the inter-shelter domes. A great way to have full-time housing for yourself, a vacation home, rental property, a man cave, maybe even a coffee shop, right, Don?
Oh, yeah. Well, you see those trailers all the time along the road that make espresso or cappuccinos for you, and they're wonderful, but because of their design, you can only have 2 lines of cars, one on each side. With a dome, because you're going to have 5 windows and 5 doors in each one, you could have 4 windows serving customers and lines of cars, and they wouldn't conflict with each other in their lines. So you could service twice as many people in the same amount of space.
That's right. Well, we refer to the domes as a blank palette that you can design any way you want. Buy what you need. Don't buy what you don't need in terms of doors and windows, floor system, insulation. more than one dome. It's just quite a selection to choose from, isn't it, Don?
It's you can have 5 windows and 5 doors and any combination thereof. In fact, you can turn doors into windows. You can cut out the door blank and have your local window company come out and measure up and make you a custom window for your doors. You can have 360. If you live on a mountain or on a beautiful lake or have nice scenery around you, you can have literally 360 windows. 360 degree windows around you. So yeah, it's pretty much up to your imagination what you want to do with them.
It is. And I sometimes refer to it as a smorgasbord. When you're going down the line at the cafeteria, you get your choice of cherry, apple, or peach pie. And when you go through the list of options for the dome homes, it's basically the same thing. You pick what you need, you leave behind what you don't need, and you get basically a custom home in that manner, don't you, Don?
Yeah, and by the way, what kind of pie do you pick up?
I like the berry pies, but apple is right there near the top. But something I no longer do is have them warmed up with a microwave, because that just destroys whatever nutritional value there is with a microwave.
It also makes it soggy. Yuck.
It depends. It's hard to have a flaky crust after that, but that does happen. Regardless,
this isn't a cooking show, right, John?
This is not a cooking show. No, sir. This is not a cooking show. What we're doing is letting people know they can achieve their goal. I talk to people all the time, Don, that would like to relocate to the Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks, and housing is an issue for many of these people. If they're buying land that doesn't have housing at all, or the housing is not suitable, housing is an issue. So, this is a way to.
Well, it is, and this fad called tiny houses. They're cool and they're cute. And they're basically big doll houses. But I mean, those things cost $70,000-$80,000, the cheap ones. And I think the average in those things is 250 square feet or something like that.
Right.
For $12,000, you can have 320 square feet of, and those tiny houses, by the way, become projectiles in hurricanes.
That's right.
The dome for $12,000, you get 100 more square feet on the ground floor, probably 800 more cubic feet of usable space because of the 12-foot ceilings being totally open. And for $12,000, and you never have to paint them, you never have to varnish them, zero maintenance ever. No shingles, no wood, no nothing. And
right.
I'll stand up against any of those tiny houses anytime.
All right. Well, the fiberglass domes that you put together yourself solve the decades-old problems that have traditionally gone along with the dome homes, with maintenance and leaks. Those problems have been solved, and end of story. Right, Don?
That's right.
They have.
Yeah.
Here's our bottom of the hour break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Thursday, the 26th of October. Visiting with Don Kubley. We're talking about the dome homes. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. Our project of finding images of continents with new coastlines continues to move forward. We have new images posted. If you haven't been there in 2 or 3 weeks, new images posted that you can see. If you want to participate, all you need to do is do what you do anyway. Watch movies, watch television shows. When you find an image of a continent with new coastlines, do a screen capture, get that to me, and you get your choice of any of my 5 DVDs as a thank you. It's a fun project. Also, of course, at my website, you'll find energy cleaners for sale. I'm shipping out a couple this morning. I ship typically 6 to 10 per week, and they go all over the world. If you have joint pain, arthritis pain, back pain, it will probably help. It will heal the source of the pain. That's what it does. It doesn't just make the pain go away. It heals the source of the pain. Now, getting a great night's sleep? Well, you'll sleep great with the energy cleaner. I use mine every night. Check out the patent application details at my website, the great testimonials. Make your decision. Get yourself an energy cleaner. Get yourself a mattress pad to go with it. Now, I'm the guy that boxes them up. I take them to the country post office in Cherryville, Missouri, and I ship them to you directly with the parcels, United States Postal Service. Only $285 shipping included for the energy cleaner. Keep in mind, I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Yes, I take PayPal. This is the most secure way you can make any payment online is PayPal, by the way. MasterCard, Visa, checks may be sent to my address at thelibertyman.com. Toll-free order line 24 hours a day. Here it is. 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. Visiting with Don Kubley, we're talking about the inner shelter domes, a great way to achieve your goal in a cost-effective way that will your home will be not blown away by hurricanes, not need maintenance on the outside, and something you can put the shelter together initially in just a couple of hours. 2 people with simple hand tools for the 14-footer, 3 people with simple hand tools for the 20-footer. And it's a very doable project with minimal skills necessary to get the initial shelter up, isn't it, Don?
Well, you're starting to get that down exactly right, John. That's right. A screwdriver and a wrench and a couple ladders is really all it takes. You don't even need the ladders for the 14-footer. You can use your cooler because it's only got an 8-foot apex on it. For the 20-footer, you do need a couple ladders, a step ladder on the inside and an extended one on the outside. But you're right, 2 people, 1 hour, the 14-footer, 3 people, 3 hours, the 20-footer. But, I was in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago displaying for the mayor of the Big Island, both in Hilo and Kona. And he had a group of from the Department of Transportation there at the county, some young Hawaiian lads, and they got it up at the big one, the 20-footer, in an hour and 20 minutes.
No kidding.
Which is faster than the Israeli army did it. There was 3 guys in Tel Aviv with a couple of generals humping them that got it up in an hour and a half. These guys knocked it out. I was stunned. And the next day they tried to beat their record, but there was a bunch of press. They moved it from this auditorium over to the mayor's office to display it, and they wanted to beat their record, but there was press running all over the place and getting in the way, and so they weren't quite able to beat that record. But an hour and 20 minutes is it. That's the fastest I've ever seen it.
There must have been some athletic young men, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, these are surfers.
Yeah.
These guys were healthy. No doubt about it.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it was a lot of fun. And you got to watch this, I assume, didn't you?
Oh yeah. You got to look quick though.
Yeah, I bet that would be a fun thing. Was this activity videotaped by any chance?
Actually, it was. I'll send you. Yeah, it was. I'll send you a video of it. In fact, I'll send it to you right now. By the way, speaking of sending you stuff, have you got those Aurora pictures yet?
Well, let me check. I haven't looked in a couple of minutes, and it may be.
I think they should be there. Now, those are low res. If you like any of the ones you see, if you want to put one or two up on your site, I'll send you a high res.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I'm looking at them now. There's some beautiful scenery, and whoa, look at that window! My goodness.
That's a lot of window, isn't it?
That's a lot of window. It's almost scary. I mean, you've been in a severe storm, you'd be thinking, oh boy, am I going to be safe watching it? Well, okay.
Just watch it blow by. That's all you got to do.
Amazing. Yeah. Neat photographs. You got some northern lights here also. Yeah, let's look at some high res ones. People will like looking at these. They really will.
How about that interior with the kitchen and the bathroom and?
Well, we got hardwood floors. There's some kind of animal skin on the floor. Nice countertop.
It's not kind of an animal skin. It is an animal skin. We're Alaskans. We're not going to be politically correct here.
Well, I said some kind because I don't know which kind. Some kind. I can't tell.
That is a caribou.
That's a caribou. All right.
Yeah.
Very elegant. Very well done. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Look at that 8-inch thick countertop. That's white cotton. Alaskan white cotton.
Oh, wood. White cotton wood. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's beautiful. I couldn't determine what the material was, but it is beautiful. There's a nice stainless steel sink there. Behind the counter. Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, you often say it's limited only to your imagination. I got to tell you, I could never imagine this. This shows what people who do have mechanical minds and good imaginations, what they can do in these things. It's just basically stunning.
It is stunning. Well, with this one large window, you just certainly don't need any other windows, do you?
Yeah, although it does have a couple.
No. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, they're in the back. Wait.
That's probably for ventilation purposes more than anything. Because you get all the light you'd ever want from this. This window's huge. My goodness, it's huge. Yeah, I look forward to getting a high resolution version of that, so we can get that posted on my website and people can look at it.
I'll send those to you, John.
Okay, outstanding.
Now there's going to be 70. This is up right now. These 10 are up in Fairbanks right now. And by the way, if people want to see these pictures and some more even better ones, or if you're interested in going to Alaska and experiencing true winter, these are Fairbanks. It's going to be 50 below when you go up there. If you want to see more about this particular operation, I'm not plugging myself here. It's called Borealis Base Camp. If that's their website, www.borealisbasecamp. And you'll see these pictures and more on there, and they are stunning. Those are in high res, and there's a lot more pictures. And this is a 5-star glamping facility. You can go snow machine and you can go dog sled, and they'll deliver gourmet meals to your dome while you're watching the Northern Lights. I mean, it's an amazing resort. It's called a glamping resort. And next year there's going to be 75 of these in Denali National Park at the base of Mount McKinley, and we call it Mount Denali up here.
So glamping is a morphing of two words together, glamorous and camping?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. You're out in the wilderness where normally you're going to be roughing it, cold, wet, miserable. You're out there, and really out there, really feeling it. But you got 5-star facilities around you. It's an amazing. It's really a booming industry. This is just like the one at the south. This is just like the one at the South Pole,
right,
where they charge $10,000 a day to stay in an igloo and play with penguins. That's extreme glamping.
Well, I would love to have access to an aircraft in the Antarctic and fly over those areas that Google has blocked out on Google Earth. Hopefully, I wouldn't get shot. Hopefully, I wouldn't get shot down, but it's
or shot something. At.
Well, same thing, but there's some serious attempts to conceal something down there, and I'm sure they're not concealing penguins or concealing something else. Yeah. Well, these I'm looking. it's either a sunset or a sunrise here, and then some daytime shots. Looks like one is just still under construction here. The door is open, and there's I can't tell if it's a man or a woman.
There you see the two ladders that you would need for a 20-footer.
Right. And then there's a person standing inside next to the window, looking out, and then three interior shots. One showing the northern lights. I assume that's northern lights. Those green stripes going across the sky. Is that the northern lights?
Yeah, that's your aurora borealis right there. Yeah.
Okay. And what time of year does that phenomenon take place?
It started about 3 weeks ago in Fairbanks. That was taken 2 weeks ago.
And it goes until when?
4th of July. No,
really?
No, it goes till probably mid-April. But that's just the warm-up. That's early fall there. In the dead of winter in December, January, February, March, you won't just see green stripes. It will be absolutely every color of the rainbow, and it crackles. It comes right down over your head.
Really? Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I've been in it where your hair stands up.
Amazing. Well, I've been far enough north to just see a little glimmer of it up in Wisconsin and Minnesota, but I've never really seen the full effect. It's an amazing phenomenon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, these dome homes are unique. They're very cost effective. You're not going to find housing this good, less expensive anywhere else, are you, Don?
No, you can't. And not just the cost of the material and the building itself, but the labor involved in putting up a stick-built house. In Alaska, to put up a cabin on a remote beach or up on a mountaintop somewhere, you're going to spend from the breakup in April. Breakup, for those that don't live in Arctic places, is when the last of the ice and snow leaves the ground or the bay in front of you, or the lake. From breakup till the first snow, you spend building your little cabin or lodge, and with everything that entails, including you're smashing your fingers with your hammers and breaking and hurting stuff, packing lumber and wood, and I mean, you can do it that way, and it's rustic and it's still great, but heck, you can. The one we moose hunt out of, we took up 120 miles up a skinny river in a single 22-foot riverboat, put it up in 3 hours, and went out and shot a moose that afternoon, and had a backstrap around the back of the campfire that night. That was 15 years ago, and it's still sitting up there.
Still sitting there waiting to be used, and it will be used, won't it?
It was just 2 weeks ago. Everybody's up there shooting moose and caribou. Yeah.
Right. Well, you can. There's photographs at my website of these domes on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, in wooded areas, in the Antarctic, literally all over the planet, in mild conditions and the harshest conditions that this planet has to offer. Right, Don?
At the harshest in both ways. The harshest in cold, of course, is the South Pole and the North Pole. You've seen the ones with the submarine coming through the ice.
Exactly.
And right now, I'll send you a couple pictures right now of we've got several pods on Kwajalein Island. It's right at the equator. It doesn't get hotter one of the things that I just talked to the vice president of DynCorp that just spent a month down there, and he said that the environment is so hard on building materials down there that the wood buildings just rot. I mean, they just literally fall apart in front of you, and even the concrete rots. And we've had domes down there. We've had domes down there 8 years now. And he said the only building that nobody's having a problem with is your domes, and the people that are living in them love them. And we've got we've got phase 3 going down there right now. It's going to be put up in December and January. And excuse me. And then looks like we've got a great big phase 4 going on right after that with DynCorp. I'll send you a couple pictures of that one. That's a beautiful facility too.
I'm a bit mystified how concrete can rot. I don't know, how's that work?
I have no idea. That's a good question, but that's yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
There's some engineering issues there that we're not going to try to get into here and just be speculation, but it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, something that needs to be mentioned, the domes you can have a dome sitting in your garage, flat on the floor, disassembled, and then take it to your wooded area and set it up for a camping trip, just like you would a tent, except it'd be far more comfortable than a tent would ever be. And when the camping trip's over, unbolt it, put it back in your pickup truck, take it home, and put it back in storage for the next time. Right, Don?
Yeah, it's that easy. Or you can, if you don't have room to put the whole thing up, you can just, broken down. The footprint is very small. The panels stack like Pringles potato chips. So you can just, stack it in your backyard or in your garage or wherever. And if the need arises, bang, you've got a bug out shelter.
Exactly. Very substantial bug out shelter that you can bury with dirt or rock or even cover with concrete if you choose to, right, Don?
Yeah, and for people in your neck of the woods, that's something that is I know very serious. Of course, we don't have tornadoes in Alaska, thank God, but I know a lot of people do. And excuse me. All you got to do is take. You know how expensive those underground bunkers are.
Oh yeah.
For tornado shelters, they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can take one of these, bolt it down to a concrete pad, and get your local pool builder to come out and shoot a couple inches of shotcrete on there, which is basically concrete that they can shoot through a gun, and you've got an above ground tornado shelter. Bang,
that's right.
Just like that.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, you don't need the concrete because of the wind. You need the concrete because of a Ford pickup truck going 100 miles an hour, hitting the shelter. That's
exactly right. Yeah. The wind isn't going to touch it.
The wind's not going to hurt it. It's projectiles.
Yeah, it's Brahma bulls hitting you at 100 miles an hour that you really want to worry about.
Exactly. Here's our last break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Thursday, the 26th of October. Yes, we're talking about inner shelter domes, a great way to have what you need to achieve your goals, and lots of different goals. And we help people meet those goals regardless of how simple they may be or how complex they might be. Right, Don?
As simple as you call it, a man cave in the backyard with your favorite television and football team, or high-tech research stations at the South Pole, at the North Pole, all over Canada, construction camps, mining camps, around universities for students. There's just, if you have a need for inexpensive space with zero maintenance, and I know that we're not, this is not an environmental radio show, but there's a near net zero carbon footprint with these buildings. You didn't have to cut down a single bloody tree to build them, and so there's just a lot of advantages and great things about these buildings.
Yeah, right. Well, lots of advantages and no disadvantages. It's all very positive. It's all a win-win situation for people that make the decision to get these domes and make use of them to achieve their goals and have money left over that they would be spending otherwise on maintenance that never ends on other types of shelters. That's the thing that's not talked about in these tiny homes is outside maintenance. They're mostly wood, and the maintenance never ends on a wood structure, does it?
That's right. Yeah, you're going to be. Well, I have a wood structure on a beach, and that's where I live. I live up here obviously in a normal wooden home, and yeah, every 2 years we've got to paint this bloody place, and it isn't easy or cheap. and if you don't, this weather up here will absolutely destroy it.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, youngsters who don't grow up having to deal with maintenance, they're not aware of the issues involved in maintenance, the time, the expense, the aggravation of outside maintenance of a home. And that's a big issue for all homeowners, that with the exception of people who own the dome homes, it's something that never ends. As long as you own the home, there will be outside maintenance, won't there, Don?
It makes it even more difficult for us where I live because and I don't mean to whine here, but and I'm not exaggerating. We had 5 days this summer it did not rain. Of course, we live in a subarctic rainforest, so I can't complain because, it's all this rain that gives America the greatest salmon and fish in the world. Well, the salmon, you can't have fish creeks and salmon streams without a lot of rain.
Right.
And if we didn't have this rain, we wouldn't have the abundance and the blessing of the 5 species of salmon that we catch all around us up here. So it's there's gives and takes to it, but we literally had some summers are nice. It just depends on the jet stream where it's at. When we have summers like this summer in Seattle, they bake all summer. They never see rain. And then summers where it's nice up here, Seattle never sees the sun.
Really?
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how that works. But we literally had 5 days that it didn't rain here all summer, and so to get out, and this was one of our years where we had to paint the house before winter, and so there was a lot of scrambling going on.
That sounds like it. Well, God bless you for doing all those things. Don, we're pretty much out of time here. I hope you can be with us next week and don't get caught in some kind of corundum like you did last week.
I do too, John. I enjoy the heck out of chatting with you every week, and it's a real honor to be invited to do so. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, my friend.
Well, thank you, and have a great day, and we'll have you back next week, sir. Thank you.
Godspeed. Thank you for your service, sir.
Okay. That's it for the day. Tomorrow, Tim Spencer will be sitting in for me. In the meantime, get your medical supplies, your energy cleaner, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms ammunition. Never ever give up your guns. Have a fun, safe, productive day. And God bless America.